All right, well, good morning. Happy April Fool's Day. I actually thought somebody was going to play some big prank on me today, so I'm paranoid all day. I trust no one. Anyway, a couple of announcements for you. I wanted you to know that we finished our freshman foresight interviews, and we have an incredible group of freshmen coming in, so I'm really excited about that. And that's a natural lead into sophomore checks. So if you're a sophomore or a junior transfer, you can expect to get an email sometime later today with all the instructions for your sophomore check interview. Those interviews will be scheduled the week of April 11th, okay? April 11th through the 15th. So check your email today for details. Also, I'd like to ask you to respond to that email no later than Monday, so we can get everything scheduled. Also, a reminder, registration opens in a couple of weeks, so it's time to get your academic schedule planner in order. If you need help with that, you have a couple of options. Julie Morse, who works in the, I can never get the name right, the Center for Student Success in College. Is that correct? Yes. All right, Julie Morris works in there, and I have actually worked with Julie. So she's sort of the communication department specialist for scheduling, and you have the opportunity to make an appointment with Julie, or you can also work with your advisor. So if your academic schedule planner is not in order, get on that immediately. Also, the Pulse has lots of openings. Kayla, do you want to talk to them about that?
Sure. So the Pulse is now accepting applications for editors. We're looking for a new news editor. We're looking for a new sports editor. You don't have to be on staff to apply. We're also looking for photography. We just have a new video production team now, so if you are interested in that, talk to Kevin Andrew. Yeah, so we're accepting applications. You don't have to be on staff, but if you are not on staff, we're asking for a teacher recommendation. If you want the application, it will be in the comment suite Monday, or you can just email me and I can email it to you.
And I happen to have brought applications with me. I've got like 5 here and more upstairs, so if you want one, you can grab one on your way out.
And we're looking for a finance manager, so business people.
All right. And I have one announcement that also might be a good Pulse article as long as I'm mentioning it. We have an alum in the department. His name is Brendan Lay. He's Canadian, and he was one of my famous video loyal lab assistants. I still keep in very close touch with him. He graduated, I think, 8 years ago or something, and went to Los Angeles, worked as a DP in Los Angeles, also worked at a major equipment rental place, like the big one in Los Angeles, and then he got deported. So he's back in Canada. I don't know, his work visa ran out or something like that. So he's back in Canada and works like in Ottawa and Toronto, and does a lot of work with freelance like DP work. Has worked on a number of television series, sitcoms, things like that. He's also a very skilled Steadicam operator. So for any of you who are interested in videography, Brendan is flying in next week, and he'll be joining us Wednesday night at 6:30 for a Steadicam workshop. We recently purchased a Steadicam in the video film department, and if you're interested in learning more about that piece of equipment, you're welcome to join us. I'll have some pizza, and that will take place Wednesday from 6:30 until about 9:30. Next Wednesday, April 6th. Any other announcements?
Yeah, a couple of announcements. One is, I'm pleased to announce that the first play that we're going to be doing in the fall is Professor Brett Klein's new play called Guts. And we'll probably have some auditions for a few of the parts. The female male leads will be young adults that have graduated.
That's a nice way to say that.
But we're excited about belaboring with Brent on this new work. Some of you probably heard the reading a couple of years ago, and I know they're excited, we're excited. Also, I'm interested in anyone who would be interested in running with me on helping to develop a film project that I've had in my mind for a long time. It's been a stage play, but it's around the life of Free Methodist founder B.T. Roberts. If you're interested in helping me do some research, if you're interested in maybe even auditioning for what will probably be initially a remounting of the play, and we'll probably do it in the prop shop next year, but it's a work that has potential for serving the Free Methodist Church and Methodists throughout the world. So B.T. Roberts, who without his work in ministry, this institution would not exist. B.T. Roberts, a man who was tremendously committed to Christian evangelism and powerfully committed to confronting social injustices of every category. So let me know if you're interested in helping me with this B.T. Roberts project.
Kayla?
Hi everyone. Forget Me Never is coming up. It is April 10th. It is a short film film event that works with the Video 306 class. Works with Video 306 class and the agency class. We are looking for volunteers to help out with the event, pass out corsages, sell merchandise, take photos, and so on and so forth. I would be very gracious to have your help, or even just to attend. It is going to be Sunday, April 10th. Doors will open at 1:30, but the event starts at 2. And the MC Judge will be playing. So.
And it's in white.
One auditorium.
Yes. And that's also a reminder to the people who were in Video 306 and actually produced a Forget Me Never piece. The residents would be really, really happy if you could attend. I know you're no longer in the class, but the residents love to be escorted in by the people who produced their stories. For those of you who are new and don't know, Forget Me Never is a storytelling collective of sorts. It's like a video oral history project in which we work with some of the elderly residents at the local care facilities, and we capture their stories. Then we feature those stories in a gala event, which Kayla is talking about. This year it's in White Auditorium. In past years it's been at the Michigan Theater, but the seniors come, they're dressed up, they get a corsage, they have their pictures taken, there is a book written about them. Simon Reedsma, I think, has been working on the book. They get copies of the DVD of their story and the stories of the other seniors. They get treated to popcorn and snacks, they get a gift basket, and they just basically get the red carpet treatment. So it's a really heartwarming event. The seniors are so excited and they love to interact with our students. So if you can make it, that would be a great thing. Any other announcements? Okay, final announcement of the day is that this is our second to the last ComCon of the year. Our final ComCon will be on Friday, April 29th, and it will be faculty show and tell. So our faculty will be sharing with you some of the work that they have been doing. But without further ado, we'll continue on, and I believe Kayla's our first presenter today. She'll be sharing, as we honor her seniors, a project that she did in agency.
So the project that I did in agency was a music video for a girl that used to go here. She lives in Arizona now. Her name is Amelia Kessler. She has an amazing voice and amazing sound. So she approached me about wanting to do a music video, and I was like, I need clients. So yes, I would do a music video. Then it was really fun to work with her because she's very passionate about her music. And I'd never done a music video before. So I thought it was all really, really fun, which it was. What was it? Beautiful.
You have to turn it on first.
I was pressing it on.
That's affirming for me,
Yeah.
to know that I'm not the only one who pushes the wrong button on a consistent basis.
If you're wondering how we shot this, we shot it mostly at Ella Sharp Park. Yeah.
How many hours did you spend putting this together?
A lot of hours. Well, editing takes forever, but the actual shoot, we started at I think 9 and we ended around noon. So like it was, yeah, it was a couple hours.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Why is this here?
And is the volume up on the slides?
Okay.
Don't whisper on freedom's ledge, awaiting hopes for its current, whose soul is full of many songs, lines in blackest ink have blurred. Don't whisper, the wings unfettered finds no strength within its feathers and feels no breeze in stillness realm, though cage is gone and ropes untethered. Break my will, break my pride, free my spirit, free my stride. Can we please start over? Break my walls, free my heart, help these wings to get their start. Finding joy through sorrow. Don't whisper, now take your flight. Fly until they're out of sight. Don't trust your wings to leave your dream. Don't look to you, don't look to me. Trust the wind that you cannot see. Trust the wind that you cannot see. Break my will, break my pride, free my spirit, free my stride. Can we please start over? Break my walls, free my heart, help these wings to get their start. Finding joy in sorrow, not take your flight.
I just want to say, I was very drawn in. It was a beautiful experience. So,
I will say Amelia's vision for the video. She's a gorgeous person, so I was like, I want to put your face on the screen as much as possible because you're singing, you're the focal point. But she wanted nature to be the focal point. So I will say that one of my more difficult, the difficult part of this was trying to figure out how to have nature in it but not make it boring because she's what we're hearing, and so we want to see her sing. So that was her vision, and so I had to go along with what she wanted. And as an artist, that can be really hard to do. But yeah, it worked out. Yes.
you had mentioned, I think it was maybe Dory that mentioned it. Was this at Ellen Sharp Park?
Yes.
From noon, from 9 to noon. How did you get so many shots with no one else at the park? No one else there?
I think we shot on a Saturday, which still, but it was getting cold at that point. I shot this last semester, towards in November, I think. And so it was getting really cold, and I wanted it to be early enough where we could get good light, but like earlier in the day where we could still see the fog that's rising and stuff. So.
And then there was just basically very few people there.
Very few people. We
Soccer was over for the season, so.
What? I'm sorry?
Soccer was over for the season, so there weren't teams out playing.
I see.
Yeah, but there were some people when we were shooting under there's that big area with the foot area. I can't.
The rotunda.
Yes, that. A lot of people did walk around that. A lot of people go up there to just walk dogs, but a lot of buses and cars are just rolling around, just watching music video. But none of them stopped and asked us what we're doing. They just walk around, just watching us. And because I didn't use any of the on-site audio, I didn't mind them walking around as long as they weren't in the shot.
Sure.
You were filming in daylight, so how did you achieve that shadow on the left side of her face? And you did that consistently all the way through the film, so that you can. And how did you achieve that lighting with all that natural lighting to contend with?
Settings on the camera mostly to kind of die down the light that's natural, and then
So that was all in the filming, not in any post production.
right. We shot some of the shots under the rotunda. She was kind of shadowed a little bit, so we worked with that as well. And I also worked on this with Evan Roberts. It wasn't completely me alone. I did have another student with me to help me along the way. So shout out to him.
Thank you. Alec is up next to give us a preview of his speech recital. Alec, do you need lights? Thank you.
Press on the bottom.
Hey, thank you.
Took me a while to learn that too.
So I know most of you, but in case you don't know who I am, my name is Alex Shoemaker. One of the requirements for my major is that I give a recital. So what I have for you today is kind of just like a teaser of what my recital is actually going to be like. I'm a speech major, and I get a lot of interesting comments when I tell people that. I get the ever so popular, no, but what are you majoring in? That one always gets me. I also get the occasional, but seriously, what are you majoring in? Look, I understand people don't like to stand up in front of other people and give speeches, but that's never been the case for me. Did you know right now the #1 fear in life is public speaking? That means more people are afraid to get up in front of you, as I'm doing right now, than of dying. Or spiders. I mean, as you can see, being a speech major and dedicating my entire life to speaking, that's never been an issue for me. And coming to Spring Arbor, I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated. Then I took a Mary Douglas class. Being in her class has brought me back to high school, and it's made me realize how much I love to speak. Being a speech major has a lot of advantages. It has some disadvantages, but not enough to keep me from pursuing it. So, one of the advantages to being a speech major is that we excel at public speaking. A lot of jobs out there are looking for people who are going to stand up in front of an audience, represent their company, and do a good job of telling them what they do. However, not a lot of people are looking for these jobs, so they're left to us. Believe it or not, these are actually the jobs that I'm excited for. I would love to stand up in front of an audience and tell people about my company and what they do, and I'm not afraid to do it. And so, sorry, actually just lost my. Okay. I like the idea of being able to use all the lessons that this institution has taught me and go out into the world and make communications a more wanted profession. Another advantage to being a speech major is that we're in constant practice in communication with other people. It's a dark and scary world out there if you can't have a conversation face to face. I know what you're probably thinking, but we have new technologies now. You don't have to communicate face to face. Paul Patton would tell you that you're dead wrong. You think 30 years from now at Denny's, we're all going to be sitting on our phones? No, we'll be having conversations. And in his classes, we're taught to do things like have tech fasts to prove that we don't always need to have technology in our lives, proving that there are other objects in our lives that show more value. One of the biggest lessons you can take away from his classes is that technology halts our creative process, and so we need to limit it. Clients need to know that they're going to go into business with somebody who's actually going to share a conversation face to face. They're more susceptible to trust you, and they need to know they can rely on you. Speech majors are fully capable of creating a relationship, whether it need to be professional or casual. They'll create the best one possible. So yeah, I've given you advantages of speech. Don't get me wrong though, I am scared of things. So I'd like to talk to you about one of my biggest fears as a speech major. In forensics, we give impromptu speeches. Impromptu speeches are roughly 5 to 7 minutes of, including preparation time, of anything that we can come up with from the quotation that we're given. And I've done the math. You get about a solid 15 seconds to come up with an interpretation that you're given from the quotation. Yeah, the look on your face is all I needed to know. And the answer to your hypothetical question is, I have no idea. I have no idea how I can do that in 15 seconds. All I know is that I have to. And so there are aspects of this major that I enjoy. There are some negative, but they don't hold enough merit to keep me from what I love to do the most. So as you can see, for me the choice was simple. I love talking to other people. Some of you know more than others. I love sharing the knowledge that I have, and I love to speak in front of crowds. I searched far and wide for a major that fit all of the descriptions, and speech was perfect for me. If you guys want to see more, my recital is Monday, May 2nd, and it'll give you even more idea of why I'm a speech major.
And it's in the
Prop shop.
right here.
Questions for Alec? Comments? Okay, good work. Thank you. All right. Yes. David will be sharing some of his portfolio work. While he is getting set up, is there anyone who didn't sign the attendance sheet?
You should have raised your hand.
Do you want the light on or off?
No.
Okay. Anyone else need it? All right. Thank you.
Proceed.
Our mission is to prepare credible, creative Christian professionals for a world where mastery of communication skills and technologies is essential. We do this through the thoughtful and scaled production, performance, and publication of redemptive original work. You might recognize that, and if not, you're pretty far behind. That's our department mission statement. Wally told me like 8 days ago that the department wants me to present my portfolio. So naturally, I confidently responded with, okay, I can do that. My name is David. I'm a senior finishing my degree in visual communications. And I'm really actually happy to speak to you guys today. Wally said I can say whatever I want for 8 minutes. So, and I would like to show you guys my portfolio, but I would like to just spend a tiny bit of time doing that. Besides, I feel like I spend enough time talking about myself anyways. So this is my portfolio. This is not actually like a public portfolio, but this was actually an attachment for a job application that I submitted. So it has 3 sections: a resume, which includes things like my past work experience, design proficiencies, education, things like that. And it also has a link to a PDF version that you can download. Here is the client's page that I created, and I coded all this from scratch using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. And from here, you can kind of click on the clients that I've worked with, scroll through, see some of the work that I've done, and if you're interested in looking at it, you can click on it, make it bigger, whatever. If you guys want to check it out, markhumph.com/CE. That's how you can find it. I came to Spring Arbor on a whim. In my senior year of high school, I just Googled Christian colleges in Michigan and found Spring Arbor, applied, picked VisCom, got in, and just kind of hit the ground running. And so over these years that I've been here, I've learned some things about what it means to be successful. And you might be wondering, okay, what does he know about success? And if so, you're probably in a good crowd with my grandma and my sister. Just kidding, if you guys are watching the tape, I love you. But it's been a long journey. Like, how did I go from here, sophomore year, to here, senior year? And it's been rough, but I made it somehow, some way. And today I would like to share with you 3 tips, 3 keys on how to be successful. I like to tell the Comtech class that the first time I opened any of the Adobe programs was in that class freshman year. And the following spring after that, I worked for a presidential campaign. They got into office. The next year I worked for SGA, the Pulse. The summer after that, I got a 2-year internship with Consumers Energy, where I plan to continue my career today. And so I've done a lot of work. And so the first key to success is coffee. No, just kidding. The first key to success really is hard work. Because really there's no easy way around it. If there's one weapon you want in your collegiate arsenal, it is the weapon of hard work. I'll tell you that there have been entire classes that I have completely missed out on because I did not work hard. And that doesn't mean that I didn't get good grades, because I always did, at least decent. But the fact of the matter is, if you're not using the material, if you're not engaging the material, if you're not working hard at listening, if you're not working hard at participating, then really it won't do you any good. As Alec repeated Paul saying, the real test is at Denny's 5 years from now. I'm glad I have glasses, because now I can do that, And so I heard it once said that what separates the good from the great is 1,000 hours of practice. And I found that to be true in my life. The classes that I did engage, the materials that I did use, the books that I did read, those are the things that have stuck with me and shaped the way that I work, and the way that I think, and the way that I engage what I do. And for you, I don't care if you're a sophomore, a freshman, or a professor, there's no escaping the importance of hard work. The second key to success is harmony. And you might be wondering what I mean by that. And I mentioned that for the longest time, I kind of had a misunderstanding of what it looked like to be successful. I thought that the successful person carried this air of mystery and intimidation. I thought that the successful person was the one who constantly burned candles at both ends. You know, getting up at dawn, staying up till dawn, till the next dawn. I thought that the successful person was the one who walked with purpose, the one whose calendar was packed, the one who hardly had time to eat. I thought the successful person was the one who sacrificed personal, relational, and spiritual well-being for accomplishment. And I'm not proud to admit that at a time I aspired to be that type of person. But working hard is not the same as burning yourself out. And working hard is not the same as building up pride. And working hard is not the same as brushing off health. But somehow in our society with social media and Instagram and Twitter, this kind of idea of this busy person is exalted. And we forget about harmony. The dictionary defines harmony as a consistent, orderly, and pleasing arrangement of parts, congruity. Thinking about success in terms of harmony seems almost counterintuitive. I thought you had to make sacrifices to get what you wanted. I thought you had to neglect these things in order to achieve the things that you want. And you know that's part of it. You may not be able to play video games all day. But sacrifice I did. I sacrificed sleep, relationships, community, connection, communion with God even. Forsaken because no, I have to work on this. And there's a time and place for that. Like I said, hard work requires sacrifice, but it must fit congruently, it must fit harmoniously with the other important things in life. If I had not recognized this misconception, then I wouldn't and would have become that person that I wanted to become, then I would have to sacrifice these things along the way. Then I really wouldn't be successful. After all, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? And what profit would it be to me if I get the good grade, the accomplishment, the job, the money, but sacrifice my emotional health, mental health, physical health, relational health, spiritual health to get there? That's not what success looks like. You see, to be successful, you have to be mindful of all parts of your life. The third key to success, which I don't know how I got over there. The third key to success is humility. And some people in this room have known me since day one. I had court in this very room with this very person right here. And so if you know me, you may know that this is sometimes an area that I'm not actually the best at. You can laugh. But the ability to be humble is quite a rare character trait. Remember that mission statement at the beginning? The department has like all these dispositions that go along with it, or have, I don't really know anymore. But one of those is that communication is a gift by which we share in the image of God. All of us in this room are communicators, whether it's your major or not. And communication is a gift that we have been given. Our success is not measured in our awards or achievements. It's not measured in how much money we make, the grades we get. It's not measured in honors or respect. Instead, it is measured in our relationships. If our ability to use this gift of communication produces pride, bitterness, judgment, or superiority, things that destroy this Imago Dei affirming relationship, then we cannot be considered successful. Dietrich Bonhoeffer in his book, The Cost of Discipleship, said, when Christ calls a man, he calls him, come and die. And I hope every person in this room has heard the gospel, God's call in our lives, the message of Jesus' death, resurrection, and forgiveness of sins. And if so, we should be living pictures of Philippians 2, people who, like Jesus, esteem all other people as higher than ourselves. You see, the successful person is not the person who leads the busy, untouchable life. Instead, success is found in the messy, hard workers, those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Success is found in those trying to live harmoniously and those trying to live with humility. Success is found in the peacemakers. And success, if we're pursuing sharing this image of God, can be found right here.
How much does coffee really play, David? I gotta
Yeah.
tell you guys, in Core 100, he was drinking, he was like on the ceiling. He got through freshman semester with coffee, but he's different now. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, everything in moderation. I think if freshman year, honestly, I was drinking probably more than a pot a day. Today, you know, it's probably like 2/3 a pot. So I kind of cut down. Sorry, thank you guys.
Hey, Joel, Bradley, you're up next.
Wait for Kevin to get set up there. So I'm Joel Bradley. I'm an advertising and public relations major, and I thought I would start off by introducing myself, but I actually have a video that summarizes who I am and who I was back in high school, who I am now, and who I hope to become in the future. So I thought rather than me telling you guys, I would just show this video, and it wraps it up in 3 minutes or less, which I think is just a little bit better on time than I would probably do. So I made this all myself for Wally's advanced advertising class. I know some of you saw it already, but I will show it anyway. One second. I see the audio.
Does it pull out?
The other green haired one? All right, so we'll start with this. Let's try this one.
You might be wondering what that means.
Does not want to.
That sounds good.
It's coming out of my computer. I will bring it up on Facebook.
Nice.
Try another. That's a headshot.
The same concept, the type of cord, like sometimes your cords isn't going to be phone or iPad. And so if we have an adapter with a type of cordless plug. So call baby. Sorry.
I'm really sorry, Joel.
No, that's fine. As long as we can get through it.
There appears to be a short support.
Hi.
Alright. So like I said, this video demonstrates who I am and where I am headed in the future.
I'm Joel Bradley, and I believe creativity is found in your peripheral vision. You might be wondering what that means. Well, let me show you. You're probably a little bit scared at the footage you are currently watching. After all, I know the quality is so low, it looks like it was recorded in a potato. That's how poor these videos probably look from an outside standpoint. Well, I know it doesn't look like much, but what you're looking at is actually my progress as a filmmaker. After all, every artist has a beginning. Every singer had to go through terrible voice cracks before they could actually sing, and every painter starts with a single stroke. My beginning started with terrible videos made in middle school, or, if you will, from humble beginnings. Throughout middle school and high school, I began making movies. These movies were oftentimes very ridiculous, and me and my friends thought we were funny. Well, we weren't. However, I found something that I was passionate about, something that really made me excited. And I was fortunate to have friends who continued to support me to make more videos. They could see I loved making them, and they saw a potential in me that I'm not even sure I saw at the time. They could see I was a creative soul, and they knew the worst thing for me would be to keep my creative energy bottled up. We started making so many movies that there was no limit to what we could make. If we wanted to do a story about a gladiator serving pizza, we could do it. Or a ridiculous toilet paper fairy? Why not? We move forward to present day, and as you can see, my videos are a lot better. I started taking classes that taught me about composition, storyboarding, and a whole lot more. They taught me how to actually make a solid video. And while the rest of my class sometimes struggled to come up with a plot line, I had the advantage because I had 10 years of creativity under my belt. I had to teach myself the hard way to stop looking into the failure for creativity. There were times throughout my experience that I really wanted an amazing idea to just hit me, and then I'd pursue that idea. But what I learned is creativity doesn't hit you like a ton of bricks. Sometimes you have to go out of your way to find it. Sometimes it's not in your direct line of sight. Sometimes it really is in your peripheral vision. It's in the things and people that are overlooked. It requires searching harder, and it took me a long time to realize this, but once you realize that the things that are overlooked are the things you need, it can start changing the way you look at everything. I'm Joel Bradley. If you ever need help with creative work, I'll be right there in your peripheral vision. Peripheral vision.
And to make it clear that this is a typo on purpose, it is not an accident. So, back when YouTube made you create a clever YouTube name, peripheral vision was already taken, so I had to change it to peripheral vision. So for you creative writing people out there who are judging me, that is why. You just stay there. So that really gives you a glimpse at who I am. It shows some of my broadcasting work in there as I narrated the whole thing. It shows that I have a love for video. That's how I originally came into the comic department. And it shows just how I look at creativity and things like that. it also gives you a good look at the weirdness and quirkiness of my personality as well. So between all of that, I think this video does a good job wrapping up my journey so far. And there's one more thing I've just recently added to the peripheral vision side of things, and that is being able to find creativity out of anything you look at. So I started realizing that if you're not able to make a story based on anything in the room, that is something you should try working on, because that is what I found is the best creative habit that I have come up with. With that, we will now switch over back to my laptop. There's no audio this time, so hopefully it should run. And like I said, I believe you should be able to create a story based on anything. This is what I've been making for the past 10 weeks. Those of you that are friends with me on Facebook have been able to see this. I know it's April Fool's, so you might be thinking this is a huge April Fool's joke. After all, this looks, and it's not really illustrated well, it's not really written well, but that's supposed to be the point of this story, is I didn't want to put any limits on what I did with this. I wanted to just create for creating. And this is influence from both Wally Metz and Paul Penton. I took an advanced advertising class with Wally Metz, which really told you to just try to be creative no matter what. And Paul Penton, the literal quote from Paul Penton is, "Dare to be stupid." I may have taken that a little too much to heart, and I went as stupid as possible with this story. But watching through this, you can actually see that I went from really miserable drawings, and as I progressed, they slowly got better. Some of you are probably pretty confused what you're looking at right now. But to give you the synopsis of this, just so you can realize how strange this is, it's a boy's flying pet pig gets lost in the non-existent world. Meanwhile, the boy must use the power of fructose in order to stop the reign of the tyrannical Chicken King. So, for any of you who are into stupid, weird humor, I have a comic for you to read, which, believe it or not, I think Ormston is into stupid, weird humor. Because I walked through Ormston, I had like 3 or 4 people tell me, "Yeah, dude, we're reading your comic." And I was like, that's kind of weird, but thanks. We also, Tyler Thorne picked up on this. He really was interested in trying to see what he could do with it. He's been playing around with After Effects and trying to create animations recently. So we are actually working on a Piggyberry animation now. So I am going to show you what we have of it right now. It is in a rough draft version, but I think it shows you where we're heading with this whole series, and hopefully we can make the whole series animated so we can show it to people at a later date. So with that, I will present to you the Piggyberry animation. I'll just show you a couple more of these too. There's your Chicken King. All right. Super cow llama. Here is the Piggyberry animation. There is some audio, but I think it'll be alright to hear it from here. Piggyberry, he's Piggyberry. He's a Piggyberry, he's not a berry. So that's all we have so far. We're on our way to creating more of that. I forgot to mention Jamin Bradley, my brother, actually did all the music, so the introduction that you heard hopefully was created by him. At the end is our nephew Beckett just saying Piggyberry, I think is what I'm trying to say. And that is where we're moving forward. So he's doing all the music. Tyler Thorne is doing all the animation. And I also decided that it'd be a good idea to end this in the most advertising way possible by saying Fructose is coming out. It's going to be the sequel story for all of those of you who read the first one. It's going to have different characters, but it is going to be the sequel. If you want to read up on it, I posted all of Piggyberry on my actual Facebook account, but this will only be on my creative media account. So that's facebook.com/JoelBradleyCM. So for any of those of you who want to catch up on Piggyberry as well as be ready for Fructose when I release it sometime in 2016, I don't know yet. But I'm working on the illustration just a little bit more, trying to make it a little more cinematic as far as cinematic or poorly drawn images goes. So that is what we have so far. So thank you.
Okay, just for the record, Tyler Thorne is a video film alum. He graduated 2 years ago, I think. Jared? Me? Yeah.
Okay.
You?
Joel, I have one quick question for you as you're walking off. So you're APR, but you mentioned having connections to both broadcasting and video. Why APR maybe?
I'm APR because I started off in video and film, and then I started dabbling around in audio. I started dabbling around in images, and I realized advertising and public relations really is someone that's looking for a visual eye and audio hearing things, which is what I believe I've developed over the past 4 years. So that's why I chose APR as it.
Perfect.
Great, thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Joe Duncan. I'm a senior in drama major and music minor here. And Jen asked me to kind of talk about what it takes to prepare a song from a musical standpoint and a theatrical standpoint. And so I'm going to do that well. Kayla goes to get some of that. Yeah. So I'm going to sing a song called Run Away With Me from a musical called The Unauthorized Autobiography of Samantha Brown, which most of you have probably never heard of. And it's a song I sang in my junior recital last year, and so I kind of know pretty well myself. But to prepare the song, it's kind of interesting and a little different than most songs you can prepare because it's from a musical that is not published, and so like, the script is not available to read. And a lot of times when you prepare a song from a musical, you read the whole script so you can understand the circumstances of the characters, so that you don't make choices in the song that maybe the character wouldn't make later or would be affected by a decision later in the show. And so for this song, when I was preparing it, I didn't really have that option, and so all of the choices I could make were based circumstantially on the song itself, which is usually a different approach you would take. Musically, this song is, some would say, difficult. Is it inappropriate or not? It's in a time signature that is not usually comfortable for singers to sing in, and it has weird rhythms and such. And it also has runs in them, which are very difficult for some people. And so it took a lot of repetition and a lot of practicing to do it and to master it really. So yeah, when Sarah's ready, I will sing one song. Oh, shameless plug. April 9th is the Forbidden Bradley Cabaret put on by SU Arts Drama. I directed this for my practicum. And then later in April, I haven't quite decided on the exact April, like April 23rd, 24th will be my senior recital. So
there's an entire week devoted to things you're doing, Jared. So keep an eye out. There are several productions of the great play, right? Hopefully. And Jared's senior recital.
yes. Let me catch my breath. This is really hard. If I start to look like I'm sweating, well, that's 'cause I am. I'm not good with words. That's nothing new. Still, I have to try to explain what I want to do. run away with me. I'm not trying to make you a wife here. I'm not trying to tie you down. I'm just saying there might be a life here, a new one as soon as we run away with me. Mississippi mud, watch me slide. We'll be on the road like Jack Kerouac, looking back, almost ready now. Let me be your ride out of town. Let me be the place that you hide. California dreams, here we come. Romeo is calling for Juliet. Ready, set, now you're ready. Let's go. Anywhere. Say the word and I'm already there. Run away with me.
Thank you, great work, seniors. Really
Yeah.
proud of you. Dr. Patton, will you pray us out?
Sure. Lord, thank you for the opportunity of hearing from you and hearing from your servants and those made in your image. Thank you for these seniors and what they share with us. Thank you for the richness of their art, their communication. Thank you for their work. Continue to guide them and direct them and bless them profoundly, beautiful ways. Dismiss us with thy benediction, and we'll give you the thanks and praise. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.